Hi, everyone. Good morning to you. We made it to Thursday, and with it, we are one day shy of an atmospheric river arriving in Southern California that's expected to bring a fair amount of rain to us over the course of the weekend. Today is our final day of dry skies on our Thursday before that wet weather arrives into early Friday. Take a look at the coastline over the next 12 hours. Temperatures have been able to stay really mild all through this week. Earlier in the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we woke up each morning to some dense fog. This morning, we did not have as much of that fog present, but we're still holding on to really comfortable conditions into the afternoon stretch. By the noon hour, could get as warm as 72 degrees out by the water under partly cloudy skies. Inland will likely be in the upper 70s this afternoon, and then those clouds start to reconvene by the evening, just past sunset, setting the stage for the arrival of that rain. Let's time it out for you. This is one of the most coveted graphics when it comes to how to explain this storm, because there are so many questions around it. This is likely to be our first major storm of the fall season. We had one day of wet weather in October. That's been since the water year began on October 1st, and it didn't bring us much. This one expected to bring us between about 2 and 3 inches in total, although I will say these models do tend to adjust often. When we look at the rainfall forecast going into late tonight and early tomorrow, it's the light stuff. This is about 2 a.m. You only see green on the screen, and we also see some pretty frequent breaks in it. 9 a.m., some wet weather coming through San Diego, moving up to about Palomar Mountain. You can see how we'll likely be dry around that stretch, the 9 a.m. morning commute in Oceanside. Same down toward the South Bay. So a little bit more scattered as opposed to widespread. Then as we go through the day on Friday, we'll get those breaks embedded in it through about 10 p.m. Likely that we might even see a little bit of sun peek through the clouds over the course of the day on Friday, and then watch what happens late Friday night into early Saturday. All that wet weather starts to really move in along the coast with more moderate to heavy bands associated with it. That's the yellow and orange. It intensifies through the day on Saturday, where we see our best opportunity at some thunderstorms arriving. That's that red, that kind of quick moving red that you see over the course of the afternoon hours on Saturday. This will all continue into early Sunday. Looks like we'll mainly have scattered activity around that day, but it will still add on to our totals. So all through the day on Friday, this is just past the midnight hour on Friday night into early Saturday, our totals are not all that tremendous. We're at about 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/2 an inch, 3/4 in Oceanside and Carlsbad. But if we push all the way through Saturday into early Sunday, we get up to 2 inches. If we push through Sunday into early Monday, we get up to 3 inches in some spots. Oceanside, 3.1 inches, 3 inches in Ramona. Most other spots beyond that are going to be right around 2 inches, although Chula Vista could stay right around the upper 1 inch range, about 1.9 inches. In the meantime, this afternoon, Thursday, like I said, comfortable 70s, a couple upper 60s out by the water, maybe even hitting the low 80s in El Cajon, and then cooling down day over day as the storm arrives. One of the starting blocks of that will be wind, especially out toward our local mountains and deserts, starting this afternoon. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are all weather impact alert days, meaning that you might want to adjust any outdoor plans that you have over the course of this weekend to account for that rain. As we get into early next week, it does seem like Monday, Tuesday, a lot of that wet weather will linger. We shouldn't have huge additional quantities of rain, but might add on to those totals steadily before we encounter our next dry day after today by the time we get to about Wednesday of next week. Temperatures across our mountains could get cool enough to sustain a dusting of snow, but otherwise it seems like this will be mainly a rain event for the mountains. Lightest accumulations will come over the deserts. Hope you all have a wonderful Thursday.